In 1985, Growing Pains gave us laughter, love, and the illusion of a perfect family. But behind the scenes, a far darker story was unfolding. Some disappeared without a trace, some were consumed by devastating personal struggles, and others died in shocking ways. Keep watching, because what they became in 2026 is almost unrecognizable. Alan Thicke as Dr. Jason Seaver. Let's begin with Alan Thicke, who portrayed Dr. Jason Seaver, the calm and thoughtful father guiding 3 children through everyday struggles at 38 years old. Born on March 1, 1947 in Kirkland Lake, Ontario, he brought steady authority and emotional balance that shaped the family across 166 episodes. This role earned him a Golden Globe nomination in 1988 and made him one of television's most recognizable father figures. Alan Thicke passed away on December 13, 2016, at the age of 69 after suffering a type A aortic dissection while playing ice hockey with his 19-year-old son Carter in Burbank, California. He was still conscious while being taken off the rink and even joked moments before collapsing, making the sudden loss even more shocking. His funeral brought together former co-stars including Leonardo DiCaprio, and he was laid to rest at Santa Barbara Cemetery, leaving behind a legacy valued at approximately $40 million. Behind that composed and reassuring image, his personal life unfolded through a series of emotional fractures. His 14-year marriage to Gloria Loring ended in 1984, followed by a second marriage to Gina Tollison that lasted only 5 years before ending in divorce in 1999. At the same time, he continued building a multifaceted career, composing theme songs for Different Strokes and The Facts of Life, yet the contrast between his on-screen stability and off-screen instability became increasingly difficult to ignore. Even beyond that defining role, his career stretched across multiple facets of television and music. He appeared in series such as How I Met Your Mother and This Is Us, while also creating iconic theme songs that shaped American television for decades. His journey reflects a life of creativity, success, and sudden loss, proving that behind every familiar face is a story far more fragile than it appears. Joanna Kerns as Maggie Seaver. We have Joanna Kerns, who played Maggie Seaver, the driven mother balancing journalism and family life at 32 years old in 1985. Born on February 12, 1953, in San Francisco, California, she brought quiet strength and emotional clarity that defined the modern working mother on screen. This role became her breakthrough and secured her place as a leading figure in family television. As of 2026, Joanna Kerns is 73 years old and has built a respected second career as a director, working on major productions such as Grey's Anatomy, ER, and This Is Us. Her transition behind the camera spans more than 2 decades, with dozens of directed episodes across network television. She continues to remain active in the industry with an estimated net worth of $6 million. Yet behind that image of balance, her life was shaped by personal and physical battles. Her first marriage to Richard Cairns lasted 9 years before ending, and her second marriage to architect Mark Appleton stretched over 25 years before collapsing in 2019. In November 2016, she faced one of the most serious challenges of her life after being diagnosed with breast cancer, leading to a double mastectomy that permanently altered her physical and emotional reality. And just as she rebuilt her life, controversy emerged years later. In 2024, she faced public backlash after acknowledging that she had once written a letter supporting Brian Peck before his conviction for child abuse became fully known. That moment forced her to publicly confront a past decision she later described as deeply misinformed, adding a complex and uncomfortable layer to a life that had already been defined by resilience, difficult choices, and the quiet weight of consequences. Andrew Koenig as Richard Boner Stabone. Coming to Andrew Koenig, who portrayed Richard Boner Stabone, the loyal best friend whose humor and awkward charm supported the show's teenage dynamic at 16 years old. Born on August 17, 1968 in Los Angeles, California, he brought comedic timing and authenticity that made his recurring role memorable to audiences. Andrew Koenig passed away in February 2010 at the age of 41 after dying by suicide in Stanley Park, Vancouver, following days of being missing. His father, actor Walter Koenig, joined the search and ultimately faced the devastating reality of finding his son's body, turning the tragedy into a deeply personal loss that shocked both family and fans. His death highlighted the silent struggle he had been facing for years. Behind the humor he showed on screen was a long and painful battle with chronic depression that quietly shaped his life. As the son of a well-known actor, expectations and comparisons followed him from an early age, yet his career moved toward smaller roles, voice acting, and independent film work such as Batman, Dead End, 2003, and The Theory of Everything, 2006. At the same time, he became deeply involved in activism, traveling to support human rights causes, which revealed a more serious and searching side of his personality. But that inner struggle never fully eased. In his final months, he withdrew from those around him, gave away personal belongings, and distanced himself before disappearing in February 2010. What followed was not just a tragic ending, but a haunting example of how depression can remain hidden even behind laughter. Kirk Cameron as Mike Seaver. Next is Kirk Cameron, who played Mike Seaver, the rebellious teenage son whose charm and humor defined the show's energy at just 14 years old in 1985. Born on October 12, 1970 in Panorama City, California, he brought charisma and unpredictability that helped drive the show's popularity and made him a teen idol, earning up to $50,000 per week by age 16. This role secured him 2 Golden Globe nominations and turned him into one of the most recognizable young stars of the late 1980s. As of 2026, Kirk Cameron is 55 years old and has shifted his career toward faith-based projects, producing films like Lifemark, 2022, and continuing national speaking tours tied to his ministry work. His net worth is estimated at around $10 million, reflecting a career that moved away from mainstream Hollywood. He currently lives in Tennessee with his wife Chelsea Noble and their 6 children while focusing on writing, producing, and public speaking. Yet behind that rapid rise, pressure built quickly and changed everything. At just 18, during the height of his fame, he underwent a profound religious conversion that began to reshape both his personal life and professional decisions. His refusal to participate in certain storylines created tension with producers and even strained relationships with co-stars. Even as he starred in films like Fireproof, 2008, his path had clearly shifted away from the mainstream success he once dominated. And while that transformation gave him a new sense of purpose, it also isolated him from the industry that made him famous. His outspoken views on social and political issues sparked backlash, drawing criticism from former colleagues and the public alike. In the end, his story became less about a teen idol's rise and more about a man choosing conviction over fame. Matthew Perry as Sandy, Carol's boyfriend. Turning to Matthew Perry, who portrayed Sandy, Carol's gentle and kind-hearted boyfriend whose storyline left a lasting emotional impact, even though he appeared in only 3 episodes at just 20 years old in 1989. Born on August 19, 1969. In Williamstown, Massachusetts, Perry brought a quiet vulnerability to the role, especially in the heartbreaking storyline where Sandy dies after drunk driving. Though brief, his performance became one of the most haunting moments in the series. Matthew Perry passed away on October 28, 2023, at the age of 54 after being found unresponsive at his home in Los Angeles. His death was later determined to be caused by the acute effects of ketamine, along with contributing factors including drowning and heart disease, closing the chapter on a life that had long been marked by internal battles. But what makes his story even more tragic is how closely his real life mirrored that early role. For decades, Perry struggled with severe addiction to alcohol and prescription drugs, entering rehab multiple times while trying to maintain a successful career. The role of Sandy, a young man whose life ends because of alcohol, would later feel like a painful foreshadowing of the very demons he could never fully escape. Yet despite those struggles, Perry built one of the most iconic careers in television history, starring as Chandler Bing in Friends, 1994 to 2004, and appearing in films like Fools Rush In, 1997. With an estimated net worth of $120 million, his success was undeniable. But behind the humor and fame was a man fighting a battle far deeper than audiences ever saw, leaving behind a legacy that is both brilliant and heartbreakingly human. Tracy Gold as Carol Seaver. Then there is Tracy Gold, who played Carol Seaver, the intelligent and driven daughter striving for perfection at 16 years old. Born on May 16, 1969 in New York City, she brought sharp wit and emotional vulnerability that made her character one of the most relatable figures. As of 2026, Tracy Gold is 56 years old and continues to appear in television projects while also working as a speaker raising awareness about eating disorders. With a net worth estimated at $2.5 million, she has remained connected to both the entertainment industry and advocacy work. She lives with her husband, Roby Marshall, whom she married in 1994, and their 4 sons. But behind that image of intelligence and control was one of the most devastating struggles among the cast. As early as age 11, she began developing an obsession with weight, which escalated during the show when scripts repeatedly included jokes about her appearance. By 1992, her condition had become life-threatening. Her weight dropped to around 36 kilograms, forcing her hospitalization and temporary removal from the series. The same role that made her famous had also amplified the pressure that nearly destroyed her. And even after surviving that battle, her life was marked by further turmoil. In 2004, she was arrested for driving under the influence after crashing her SUV, injuring her husband Roby Marshall and 2 of their children, leading to 3 years of probation and hundreds of hours of community service. Yet over time, she rebuilt her life, even portraying her own struggle in For the Love of Nancy, 1994, turning pain into awareness. Her story remains one of the most haunting examples of how fame, pressure, and personal battles. Bill Irwin as Leon, grandfather. Now we have Bill Irwin, who played Leon, the grandfather figure whose warm yet occasionally sharp presence added depth to the Seaver family dynamic when he was 70 years old. Born on December 2, 1914 in Honey Grove, Texas, he brought decades of experience into even the smallest roles, making Leon feel authentic, lived in, and quietly memorable. Bill Irwin passed away on December 29, 2010, at the age of 96 from natural causes at his home in California. With a career spanning over 250 film and television credits, he remained active in the industry for more than half a century. His estimated net worth was around $1 million, reflecting a long, steady career rather than blockbuster fame. Behind that longevity was a life defined not by stardom, but by persistence. Irwin never became a household name, often cast in small or supporting roles, yet he continued working across generations of television, from I Love Lucy to The West Wing. That quiet consistency, while admirable, also meant he lived in the shadow of bigger stars, building a career that was respected but rarely celebrated at the highest level. And yet, his legacy was undeniable. He earned an Emmy nomination for his role as Sid Fields in Seinfeld, 1993, appeared in beloved films like Somewhere in Time, 1980, and Home Alone, 1990, and became one of Hollywood's most reliable character actors. In the end, Bill Irwin's life tells a powerful story. True success isn't always about fame, but about endurance, passion, and leaving behind a body of work that quietly stands the test of time. Jeremy Miller as Ben Seaver. Then we come to Jeremy Miller, portraying Ben Seaver, the youngest son whose innocence and humor added a softer layer to the family at just 8 years old. Born on October 21, 1976 in Covina, California, he brought a natural, childlike energy that balanced the show's emotional tone across 7 seasons and later reunion films. As of 2026, Jeremy Miller is 49 years old and has stepped away from mainstream acting, focusing on personal recovery work and occasional appearances while maintaining a modest net worth of around $2 million. He is married to Joni Miller and has 3 stepsons, continuing to rebuild stability after years of personal struggles. His life today centers more on family and sobriety than on Hollywood. But behind that early success was a deeply troubling reality that began far too young. He admitted to drinking alcohol as early as age 4, and after the show ended in 1992, that habit spiraled into severe addiction, leading to years of uncontrolled behavior, damaged relationships, and emotional instability. His business venture in the restaurant industry collapsed during the 2008 financial crisis, leaving him financially and mentally overwhelmed, and the consequences reached painfully into his family life. His addiction created fear among his own stepsons and nearly destroyed his marriage to Joni Miller before he finally sought treatment, including the use of a naltrexone implant to control his dependency. Over time, he slowly rebuilt his life, but his story remains a stark reminder of how early fame, untreated struggles, and addiction can quietly dismantle a life long after the cameras stop rolling. Ashley Johnson as Chrissy Seaver. Shifting to Ashley Johnson, who played Chrissy Seaver, the youngest daughter bringing innocence and warmth into the family at just 7 years old. Born on August 9, 1983 in Camarillo, California, she brought natural charm and emotional softness that refreshed the later seasons of the series. As of 2026, Ashley Johnson is 42 years old and continues working across television, film, and voice acting, with a net worth estimated at around $3 million. She achieved global recognition through voicing Ellie in The Last of Us, winning 2 BAFTA awards for Best Performer, becoming the only actor to win that category more than once. She remains active in projects like Critical Role while also contributing to creative and charitable initiatives. But behind that success was a life marked by emotional hardship and physical struggle. At 16, she lost her father to cancer and hepatitis complications, a devastating event that shaped her early adulthood. At the same time, she endured years of wearing a back brace due to scoliosis and kyphosis, quietly battling physical pain while continuing to pursue her career. And just when her career reached new heights, her personal life took a dark turn. In 2023, she filed a restraining order against Brian W. Foster, accusing him of years of physical and emotional abuse, later joined by 6 other women who came forward with similar allegations. The case sent shockwaves through the industry, exposing a hidden chapter of her life that contrasted sharply with her success. Yet through it all, she stood her ground, transforming pain into strength. Leonardo DiCaprio as Luke Brower. Now we have Leonardo DiCaprio portraying Luke Brower, the troubled teen, adding a darker emotional layer to the story at 16 years old. Born on November 11, 1974, in Los Angeles, California, he brought raw intensity and vulnerability that hinted at a depth far beyond his age. This role became an early stepping stone that foreshadowed a career destined for global stardom. As of 2026, Leonardo DiCaprio is 51 years old and stands as one of the most successful actors in the world with an estimated net worth of $300 million. He won the Academy Award for The Revenant and starred in global hits such as Titanic and Inception, with his films grossing over $7 billion worldwide. Beyond acting, he continues producing films and leading environmental initiatives through his foundation. Yet even with that level of success, his life has never escaped scrutiny. His relationships have repeatedly drawn criticism, especially ongoing reports about dating women under 25, creating a controversial public image that follows him into his 50s. At the same time, despite his strong environmental activism, he has faced backlash for using private jets and supporting luxury projects, raising questions about the contradictions in his lifestyle. And behind the fame, there were moments that revealed how fragile everything could be. In 2005, he was violently attacked at a Hollywood party, requiring 17 stitches to his face and neck after being struck with a broken bottle. Combined with constant media pressure and public criticism, his life reflects a paradox of success and controversy. Sam Anderson as Willis DeWitt. Then is Sam Anderson, portraying Willis DeWitt, the strict and disciplined school principal challenging students with authority at 39 years old. Born on April 2, 1947 in Clark, South Dakota, he brought a firm presence and intellectual sharpness that added tension and realism to the school environment. This role strengthened his reputation as a reliable character actor across television. As of 2026, Sam Anderson is 79 years old and continues to appear in television, including his recent role in Matlock, 2024, maintaining a steady career spanning over 5 decades. With an estimated net worth of around $5 million, he remains one of the most consistent supporting actors in Hollywood. He has been married to Barbara Ann Hancock since 1985, building a stable family life with 2 children alongside his long-running career. While many actors around him faced turbulence, his life followed a quieter but equally demanding path. Building a career through supporting roles required constant persistence, moving between series like Lost, where he played Bernard, and films like Forrest Gump, where he appeared as a school principal. Each role demanded adaptability, yet rarely placed him in the spotlight, creating a career defined more by consistency than recognition. And that quiet persistence became his greatest achievement. Across decades of television and film, he remained a steady presence in an industry known for instability, proving that success does not always come from fame, but from endurance, discipline, and the ability to remain relevant long after others fade away. Chelsea Noble as Kate McDonald. Now we have Chelsea Noble, portraying Kate McDonald, the supportive and grounded girlfriend, adding emotional balance to the teenage storyline at 25 years old. Born on December 4, 1964, in Cheektowaga, New York, she brought warmth and sincerity that softened the rebellious energy surrounding her character. This role became her most recognized performance and closely tied her identity to the series. As of 2026, Chelsea Noble is 61 years old and has largely stepped away from mainstream acting, focusing on faith-based projects and family life alongside her husband, Kirk Cameron. With an estimated combined net worth of around $5 million, she continues to participate in religious and charitable work through organizations they co-founded. She has been married to Kirk Cameron since July 21, 1991, and together they have 6 children. Yet her story reflects a quiet sacrifice that often goes unnoticed. After marriage, her acting career gradually faded as she chose to prioritize family and shared religious commitments, even stepping in as a body double in romantic scenes to align with her husband's beliefs. While she appeared in projects like Fireproof, 2008, her presence increasingly shifted away from independent recognition. And over time, that choice reshaped her entire identity. Her career never reached the heights once expected, but she remained committed to a different path built on faith, family, and partnership. In the end, her story stands as a contrast to Hollywood ambition. Julie McCullough as Julie Costello. We come to Julie McCullough, portraying Julie Costello, the charming love interest whose presence brought romantic tension into the story at 24 years old. Born on January 30, 1965, in Honolulu, Hawaii, she brought confidence and striking appeal that quickly made her character stand out during her short time on screen. As of 2026, Julie McCullough is 61 years old and continues to perform occasionally in comedy and entertainment, with an estimated net worth of around $1 million. She transitioned into stand-up comedy and live performances after stepping away from major acting roles, maintaining a presence outside traditional Hollywood pathways. Her career today reflects a shift from rising actress to independent performer. But what followed her breakthrough became one of the most shocking turning points among the cast. At the peak of her role, she was suddenly removed from the series just before her character's wedding storyline, after her past as a Playboy model was revealed. That decision, influenced by Kirk Cameron's personal beliefs, instantly halted her momentum and turned a rising career into a public controversy that she had no control over. And the emotional impact lingered far beyond that moment. She later admitted the experience left her deeply hurt and struggling with rejection as opportunities began to disappear almost overnight. Despite appearing in projects like The Blob, 1988, her career turned her story into a stark example of how quickly success in Hollywood can collapse when personal beliefs, image, and power collide. Heather Langenkamp as Amy Boutillier. Finally, we have Heather Langenkamp, portraying Amy Boutillier, a supporting character adding emotional depth to the teenage storyline at 24 years old. Born on July 17, 1964 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, she brought sensitivity and quiet intensity that complemented her already established presence in television. As of 2026, Heather Langenkamp is 61 years old and remains active in both acting and production, with an estimated net worth of around $1.5 million. She is widely recognized as the iconic final girl Nancy Thompson in A Nightmare on Elm Street, a role that defined her legacy in horror cinema. Alongside her husband David Leroy Anderson, she also co-founded a visual effects studio, continuing her influence behind the scenes. Yet behind that legacy lies a tragedy that reshaped her life completely. In 2018, she lost her 26-year-old son, Daniel Anderson, to brain cancer, an event that left an emotional scar impossible to fully heal. The loss was so profound that it later influenced her performances, bringing a deeper sense of grief and realism into her work. And even with decades of success, that pain became the defining chapter of her later life. While she continued appearing in projects like The Midnight Club, 2022, every role carried a quiet weight shaped by personal loss. Her story ultimately reflects a powerful truth. Nearly 4 decades after Growing Pains, 1985, first captured audiences, the cast's journeys in 2026 reveal a powerful mix of success, loss, and unforgettable transformation. Some became legends, others faced heartbreaking struggles, and a few are no longer with us. Which change surprised you the most, and who did you never expect to lose? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more Then and Now stories.